Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the podcast Strikes Back. My name is George and you're listening to our weekly show Top 8, where we round up all the big news in the world of movies. And joining me today are the TPSB boys, Connor.
Hello.
And Benny.
G'day.
How are you guys? What has been going on this week? I'm trying to get my words out. I'm so excited.
It's actually been a big week this week.
Yeah, we got some news dropped this morning. But before we get into the top 8, what have you guys been watching? Benny?
I finally got around to checking out American Gods, the highly anticipated adaptation of Neil Gaiman's novel.
Very exciting.
I watched the first 3 episodes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty awesome. It's stunning. I haven't read the book myself, and this show is in no rush to explain what's going on at all. I've been reading some reviews that clarify a few little things without giving away any spoilers, just who some characters are, which has been helping me a lot because it's so esoteric you would have no idea, I think, what's happening. Like the title is the biggest plot giveaway you get as to what actually is happening in this show. But it is it's created by Brian Fuller, who did Hannibal, so as you can expect, it is visually amazing. So just well worth a watch. I highly recommend it.
When you say that the title is probably the biggest giveaway, do you start to get that in the first episode, or is that kind of teased along?
Well, it's just you're kind of finding out stuff as the main character is, and you're really getting no more information beyond that. And even the way it's being told is very nonlinear. There's little vignettes that happen. There's someone writing a book at the beginning of each episode or something that's telling, and then we watch those stories as well.
Okay.
And they're all kind of related to various gods of different faiths and throughout history. It's very cool, though.
That sounds awesome. That sounds like something I want
Neil
to check out.
Gaiman's stuff is always amazing.
It's pretty cool, yeah.
I've read a few Sandman comics and they're pretty outstanding. Haven't read them all. But yeah, I'm really keen to check that out. Amazon Prime, right?
Yeah.
That's definitely where I'm getting it.
Let's
Just
leave it at
cancelled
that.
my subscription. Actually.
Good one.
Damn it.
What about you, Connor? What have you been watching, man?
I pumped through season 5 of Sons of Anarchy. I've been trying to get through this for a while.
You're so savage to yourself.
Yeah.
You just pump through these shows.
With TV shows, if I get hooked, I just kind of pump through as much as I can.
Is that why everything you watch is at least like 2 years old?
Yeah.
So you can watch it all?
Yeah, so I can watch it all at once.
Yeah.
And that's the problem that I ran into with Game of Thrones, because after I watched the first season of that, I realized I actually do have to wait for each successive season, and it kills me every time. I really enjoyed season 1 to 4. I thought it was a cool story arc that you got with the main character, Jax. Season 5, I ultimately know where this season is going, and where the entire series is going, in fact. And you can start to see everything unravel in this season. Ultimately, all the characters just turn into assholes. Huh. Giant, gaping assholes.
You can't have that in a bikie gang.
Yeah. But I mean, that was the thing that was so endearing about the first couple of seasons is it is a guy that at his core is trying to be better. And they just kind of drop all pretense of any of these people having a shred of decency in them. They're just all shitty people going about their lives. So I'll see if I actually make it into season 6.
Oh, wow.
I'm pretty kind of disgusted with these characters, actually.
It's that choice you have to make in a series, whether you want to keep watching it and get to the end and ruin the whole thing for yourself, or just leave with some fond memories.
It's a tough
community.
Decision, yeah. Speaking of Mr. George.
Well, we all watched King Arthur and John Wick 2.
Yeah.
But I went back to the cinema and I watched Alien Covenant again. And thoroughly enjoyed it even more, I would say.
Wow.
I was going in expecting... We kind of talked about this in our review. Go check that out. The kind of dichotomy the film has. It's very front half Alien. The back half, middle half is very Prometheus. And then
that's a good middle half. I love that one.
It kind of converges at the end. And knowing that going in, I think you can enjoy the film because the first time it's a little bit jarring. But yeah, I really like this film, man. I don't know. I think it might even be my third favorite Alien film.
Jesus.
Having been able to kind of sit back and digest this film for a while, I kind of agree with you. I mean, this movie, it was a bit surprising at first. This movie has garnered a lot of hate. There are some people that really despise this film.
We've heard that in the comment section of our YouTube
and,
review.
It's kind of made me look at it with a bit of a critical eye, but what I ultimately figured out was that this film was never going to please people. I think really Scott had a really tough job with this. I don't think he would have ever been able to make a film that pleased people. I mean, half the people wanted Prometheus 2, half the people wanted to go back to Alien. And I think that, what he did was a good little blend of two. but he's never gonna to satisfy those two camps completely.
I feel like maybe a quarter wanted Prometheus too.
Well, I
But,
mean,
but I agree that he's
And
never going to
Connor
be able
was
to please everyone.
definitely part of that quarter.
Yeah.
no, I wasn't.
Anyway, let's not talk about Prometheus. Seriously,
no, I
We're
wasn't
putting a
going to talk about Prometheus. What I was going to say.
I'm going to say I'm enforcing a Prometheus ban on this podcast.
Yeah, I'm not talking about Prometheus. I wasn't going to.
Okay, cool.
I'm just saying that a lot of people wanted answers to it, and that's it.
Yeah.
And that, that's all they wanted. But
This film just took a massive dump on those answers. But
Yeah, beautiful.
anyway,
My opinion hasn't changed on it at all, really.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go revisit it anytime soon. It's not my third favorite Alien film. I feel like that's such a good backhanded compliment. It's like it's the one I hate least after Alien and Aliens.
yeah, I really like Alien 3, but it's more I like the stuff around the film, the trials and tribulations of that production.
And when you actually sit down and watch it, it's a bit of a slog.
It's a bit of a slog.
But there's good stuff in there.
Yeah, there is. And it looks great and there's some really interesting stuff, but I think Covenant, it executes its vision the best out of all of the other Alien films.
This is so sacrilegious, but the only Alien film out of all of them that I ever have any real urge to go back and watch is Alien Resurrection.
Yeah, you got a soft spot for that
I
one.
really do. And I've seen the first two so much on the big screen many times and everything, so I've kind of got my fill of those, but Resurrection keeps drawing me back somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I watched that most as a kid.
Yeah, I just don't know about Resurrection.
I think we should give it a go
Yeah,
sometime.
let's do it. Let's do it.
just keep this train going, the Alien train.
Yeah.
Should we move on to the news?
Let's
The
do it, man.
news.
It has actually been a big week. So first
Yeah,
on
Big morning.
Big morning as well,
Morning,
yeah. Speaking of which, first on the list, Tom Hardy has been cast in Sony Marvel's Venom flick as the title character, as Venom.
Great choice.
It's a really interesting
Can't
choice.
go wrong with Tom Hardy. We get a nice mumbly Venom.
Oh, right.
Nobody cared who I was till I put on the symbiote.
You know what? You know what's interesting is we've talked about this film a few times since we started the podcast, and this has really piqued my interest. This is the first time where I'm actually taking this thing a little bit more seriously.
So no word on who Tom Hardy will actually be playing technically. Like we know this is going to be a
human
Venom movie. Yeah, we don't really know anything about this though. Like he could be playing anyone really, or it's just he's been announced as the lead. But
Yeah.
in all likelihood, he'll be playing either Flash Thompson or Eddie Brock, who Topher Grace played in Spider-Man 3. Or maybe he'll be playing Mac Gargan, the Scorpion, who was briefly Venom as well. But
God, that sounds awful.
yeah,
I mean,
but
ultimately
Flash
we-
Thompson's version of Venom was the anti-hero anti-Venom, which whoever came up with that idea, fucking brilliant. But because that could be an interesting way to go because he's not entirely a villain.
Yeah. And I think that, this doesn't really give us much to go on. I mean, Tom Hardy is a good actor.
Yeah.
But you could put 100 different actors into that spot and it would probably turn out all right.
I don't know.
It's really
know
the
about
direction.
that. As I said before, the fact that Tom Hardy is the main guy, I'm interested now. He's got an aura about him that he brings a gravitas to a role. I mean, even with Bane, for all the funny moments, for you, the people, for all those moments, like he was actually a cool character, and I think Nolan really cocked up on the last 10 to 15 minutes on Dark Knight Rises. I think that left a really sour taste in the mouth.
Just the last 10 to 15.
I would say there's a big chunk in there that really derails, like just erodes everything that happened in the film.
To be honest, Bane was the only thing keeping me in that film.
If this Venom movie gives us as many quotable lines and memes as The Dark Knight Rises did, I'll love it forever.
Yeah.
Well, can't wait to see what weird accent he gives Eddie Brock.
Yeah, Jesus.
Do you think he's just turning into like the Jeff Bridges type actor where like his accent and mumbling will just get increasingly
He'll become
severe?
more deranged
Yeah.
as he gets
So much
older.
younger though. Imagine by the time he's Jeff Bridges' age.
barely be able to get a word out of him.
So Ruben Fleischer, who directed Zombieland and the Santa Clarita Diet, the recent Netflix series, is going to be helming this one.
Yeah.
I think everyone kind of loves Zombieland, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What an awesome fun movie that was.
Yeah.
And really kind of self-aware and meta in a way that was very encouraging.
It'll be interesting to see if they take that kind of style and apply it to this film. I mean, they've already said that it's going to be an R-rated film, which gives the impression that it's going to be a darker style of film.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see where Sony go with this whole Spider-Man Marvel thing that they're doing.
Is it in continuity? Is it not?
Yeah.
They've been very kind of on and off about this, and they want to
figuring it out.
So we know Sony. They go where the money goes. They change their mind every movie. So Spider-Man's obviously going to do great, and everyone's going to love it probably. But still, they're talking about we're going to get Spider-Man out of the MCU or something.
See, that both makes me kind of more comforted with this situation and also a little bit more scared because they may see the success of Homecoming and think, well, we can do that.
Yeah.
One hit that someone else started, and they'll be like, oh, we're sweet again.
We got this. And then
they're booked for 2.
Yeah.
Homecoming 2, which it won't be titled that, but that's booked with
But just
Marvel.
try and tell me that you're not frightened that might happen.
I have no faith in Sony. I'm terrified of everything they do.
Ben just wakes up in a cold sweat every day. Just be like, what's Sonny done today?
Yeah.
Sonny, damn it.
Sonny,
So close.
Sony Pictures.
How far are we into the podcast?
We are 12 minutes.
12 minutes in and I've already fucked it up.
Jeez, I had something really important to say and now I've forgotten. I reckon we should move on.
Yeah, let's move on. All right, so number 2 on our list, the final War of the Planet of the Apes trailer has dropped. I checked this out early in the week. I thought it was a really good trailer. I loved the feel of it. We got a little bit more information. It's that catch-22 with these kind of trailers. You know, I almost wish I hadn't seen it.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like they're giving too much of the plot away.
I said that immediately when I finished. In a good way, though. In a really good way. I'm amped for this film.
Very cool trailer. And I don't think there would be too much you can spoil about this film necessarily.
Hey, Connor, relax.
God.
It's spreading.
The last one didn't have any great twists in it or anything, really.
But even the fact that they're talking, none of the other trailers have set up that amount of monkey dialogue.
I mean,
Monkey dialogue.
The humans look...
MD.
I don't know.
Monkey
that
talk.
word so much. Monkey dialogue.
That was a big surprise in this trailer, and I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I like the monkey dialogue.
Well, I can't even really
Chimpanzees, but
spot.
whatever.
It doesn't seem like we have any main human characters necessarily. Like we have the villain, of course, Woody Harrelson playing
Who looks awesome.
Colonel Kurtz. Yeah,
Some of his lines in this trailer were fucking awesome.
yeah,
Haunting, in
Yeah.
fact, yeah.
yeah. But he looks very squarely to be just a villain, and that's going to be all he is in this film. And otherwise, it's the apes, which is very cool.
Yeah.
They've really earned this. I
Yeah,
think.
and the CG, especially that bit where he's walking down that corridor and the lights on his face, on Caesar's face. Wow.
A couple of shots in this trailer were like pushing photorealistic, which, I mean, say all you will for CG. There's so few times I'm looking at something and being like, that actually looks real, but they're really getting there with these damn apes.
I'm getting that moment more and more now when I watch films, that kind of like double take moment where I have to think about it for a second and be like, is that? No? Okay, yeah. And then I can usually pick that it is CGI. But it's happening more and more often.
Like those giant elephants in King Arthur. You're like, is that CGI?
That was right on the line there. I wasn't
we'll
quite
talk
sure.
about that in our review. But yeah.
That's what you went to?
Yeah, that's the way I plug.
Yeah.
I am so G to this film. I loved Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. I really liked the first one as well, Rise. I am so amped for this one. I think the cinematography and the look, the snow environment, it has a really, it's got a really interesting sort of atmosphere that I'm really on board with.
I'm shocked by these apes movies in that the last one at least, and hopefully this one, they seem to be the like mature adult blockbuster franchise that we have now.
Who would have seen that one coming?
It's crazy. Like they're able to do like adult kind of entertainment without it, not adult entertainment, but without it being, like grim and gritty DC bullshit.
Yeah.
Sophisticated, big budget movie.
The second one had some emotional scenes in it. I remember when he goes back to the house in the second one, it hit me hard.
Yeah.
And they played it so well. Look, I've got faith in it. The second one blew me away.
Whoa.
Let me finish.
It is adult entertainment.
That DVD case is something you don't want to look at. Sorry, you're into
we're moving
Blu-rays.
on. I'm cutting this
Blu-ray
right
case.
here.
Sorry, I wouldn't want to offend you. You're only high def.
Yeah, fingers crossed on this one. This will be crushing if this is no good.
Matt Reeves, man.
Matt
I believe
Reeves,
in that guy.
I've loved everything he's done.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Quality.
Moving on, number 3. This isn't actually a news story necessarily, but it's been amped up quite a bit. It's the hackers holding Pirates of the Caribbean 5 for ransom.
and pirates.
Pirates are. They're threatening to release it
How
online.
funny is that? I wonder if they planned that. They're like, we're going to be digital pirates.
Yeah. Look, this is not the first time this has happened. It happened with Netflix and Orange is the New Black, where they held episodes, or I think the entire season, ransom,
which is
Netflix had to pay an extra
weird
amount of money.
for Netflix, I feel, because they're just going to release that online essentially anyway.
Well, this was my thought process. Like with Netflix, what are they really? How are they holding that above their head? Like, we release all our shit at once anyways. So what do you think we're losing by this?
This one I think makes a lot more sense though. This feels more like when the original Wolverine movie leaked online.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then Fox claimed that really hurt the box office sales, which obviously was probably more the fact that it was terrible.
Shitty movie.
But but that seemed to be the industry thinking on it. And this one, they're holding it ransom for $80,000, which is a pittance, really.
Yeah.
For $1 billion franchise, multi-billion dollar. This is a huge franchise. But this seems like a movie that could really be hurt by something like this, because it's the exact kind of film that people would be like, I'm not going to leave my house and go pay to see this movie.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, it's probably not going to be any good. The last one was terrible. So, but the last one made a lot. But this seems like the perfect prime target for, I'm just going to download this and watch it.
But I mean, Disney's in a rough situation. I mean, if they cave and pay what you've already
Setting
clarified as
precedent.
it's pittance, but that just opens up a floodgate for people to start doing this to major motion pictures, and that's a dangerous place for us to be in.
Well, I was reading an
everyone to
interview.
be.
I was reading an interview with a hacker who was working with the FBI nowadays on stuff like this, and he's saying it's untraceable. They can't really stop these guys.
That's crazy.
Necessarily, yeah. But yeah, Disney so far is just ignoring them.
Yeah, I think that's all they can do.
Yeah, I
Really.
mean, if it goes out, it goes out. But
if you actually think about it, I mean, from the time that something gets released in theaters, you can pretty much download. It might not be great quality, but you can download the movie.
It doesn't take long for a good one to be out there.
A lot
I'm
of
sure.
people that download are not downloading because they can't access something. It's because, they're going to download it anyways. So I feel like Disney is doing the right thing. They just play it out and be like, fucking go for it. I don't think it'll actually hurt them that much.
Don't negotiate with terrorists.
I was avoiding saying that, but thank goodness you've gone there.
With movie terrorists.
Yeah. George?
Yeah. I don't know. I just
relatively
kind of
silent
agree
on
with
this one.
everything.
You've been very quiet. Did you steal Pirates 5, George? Have you got it on your computer?
tiptoeing out of the room.
I'm not excited for this movie, so it doesn't really affect me. I'm going to go see it for the podcast so we can review it. One little thing is I heard murmurs, rumors, murmurs. I don't know what I'm trying to say. That
How is it you two that is fucking up more than I am this time?
we feel the pressure.
Early days.
Early reviews have been positive for this, or at least it's a better film than the last few have been.
Not hard.
Bar is not high.
Last few. I don't know. I like 2 and 3, so.
Yeah.
The trilogy's fine for me.
I love number 1. Ash and I watched that the other day, just came on TV, and it was from the first sort of 15 minutes onwards, and I love that movie. It's so much fun.
I think I prefer 2.
Really?
I haven't watched him in a little while, but number 1, I remember going back and it feels a little quippy and like, oh, you like pain, try wearing a corset kind of stuff. A bit
I kind of like that,
cute
though.
kind of Disney stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
I thought they went in an interesting, weird direction with the second 2, and the second one especially, I think is really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, like I like the 3. It does get a bit convoluted towards the end, which was a major kind of criticism of it at the time.
With the whirlwind and the ships and the...
I'm into it.
No. I'm not into it.
I'm 6'4". I need giant chicks, man.
All right, moving on. Number 4, The Witcher. It has been slated for a TV Netflix series.
So George and I are just going to go grab something to eat. Connor, you can talk about this for a few minutes. Yeah.
So neither of you have obviously played the games.
Never read it, never watched it.
I've watched, once again, my good friend Geordie. I bring him up every podcast now.
He's becoming a regular. We might as well get him on.
Let's get him on. He played it a lot and enjoyed the game. So that's about all. I've watched him play it. It seems like a really immersive world. It's I like the art style of the game.
It is a stunningly beautiful game, and it's generally heralded as one of the better games of the last decade, in terms of in its kind of area. I haven't read the books, but I have played the second and third game in the trilogy. This is something that...
Is it based off books?
So there's 7 books by a Polish author by the name of... I'm going to get this wrong, because as I mentioned, it is Andrzej Sapkowski. Sapkowski? Yeah, something like that. He wrote a series of 7 books.
No, I think you got it.
Yeah.
Shock it out. But how would you know, though? He wrote, I believe, 7 books. And then the Polish game studio that I can't remember the name of, read something, produced it into these 3 games, which is why they are able to create such an immersive world, because it's already down on page. And the backstory in those games is ridiculous, like so much information. But yeah, so he wasn't really involved, from my knowledge, he wasn't really involved in the games. They really just took from his source materials of the books. This is something that he will be involved in. So they've got him on as, I say in air quotes, creative consultant, to kind of preserve the feel.
Which means they don't have to do anything he says.
Exactly. I mean, like every book has the author on as a creative consultant. Like that means jack shit.
Good idea, Andre. Go sit in the corner.
Yeah. Wonderful. Okay, we'll think about that.
That gives it, I guess, it sets it up in a way that other video game adaptations haven't done.
Well, yes, and then for 2 reasons.
That it's not a video game adaptation necessarily.
Exactly.
But people know the franchise as a video game, so they'll have to take some elements from the game and put them in. Like it'll be a kind of a fusion.
Yeah, they'll have to. And the game is already a fusion of that. Like it really does draw on that, the source material. But one of the cool things about this is Thomas Baginski. Again, no idea if that's right.
Yeah, I think you got it again. 2 out of 2.
I am nailing it today. He directed the intro videos for all 3 of the Witcher games. And if you haven't watched these, they're actually really cool, 2-3 minute PlayStation CGI scenes. But it sets up, if that's the kind of style that we'll get in these TV shows, and I'm so down for that. So I think he'll be on to direct at least one episode per season, which is it's a good sign. So we've got people from the video game, we've got people from the source material, like the author. Could turn out to be a very cool series.
And this could be coming out at a good time where I was going to say Game of Thrones is wrapping up, but they're doing like 5 offshoots.
Yeah, they're doing this 4 offshoots.
I'll retract that statement and say...
Well, it's the main story of Game of Thrones is coming to an end.
Yeah, but they have the blueprints there, and they can combine the book and the game and make a really cool TV series, and partnering with Netflix is a no-brainer.
Oh, yeah. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, there's always the video game curse. This might be the one to break it up, not only because it's based on books,
but this is a TV series.
But it's also a TV series, exactly. So I think that you can do a lot more with TV that you can't do with film, simply because you're constrained into a 2-3 hour time slot.
Now, I reckon what they should do is, and I'm good at fixing things, all right? I think as Game of Thrones is wrapping up, they should grab as many cast members from that as they possibly can and just put them all in this.
And just straight into Witcher.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sean Bean in this.
Yeah, and then kill him in the first episode.
Yeah. Excellent.
Spoilers for Game of
Most
Thrones.
on-screen deaths of all time, Sean Bean.
Is that true?
Is he really?
Yeah, at
That
least
makes
it
sense.
was a few years ago. Let's check this out.
Ooh,
He's
fact check.
certainly got like
Calling
a
you out.
diverse range of deaths with on screen. I once watched an infographic where it showed how many times he's been decapitated, how many times he's been shot.
Nice. I love his death in The Island, that Michael Bay film with Scarlett Johansson and Ewan McGregor.
Yeah.
That was
I'm trying to
brutal.
remember his death. It's been ages since I've seen The Island.
He gets the wire around his neck.
Oh,
and
that's
he's
right.
like,
Yeah.
Oh, brutal.
You love that movie, don't you?
I love The Island.
Michael Bay's The Island.
I love the first 45 minutes, and then he turns into an absolute schlock.
Yeah.
But the first 45 minutes that them in that facility is so cool.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
let's do a review on that. Force you guys to watch
Yeah,
it.
well,
I'll
think about
do
that,
it
George.
right
We'll think
now.
about
It's
that.
not very good.
Yeah. All right, number 5. Jordan Peele's next project has been announced.
Already.
Already.
Very quick.
Well, we were
Akira.
already
Akira.
Yeah. We were already kind of speculating as to what he was going to go into next, and there were some murmurs, but it's been confirmed that he's going to go. His next project is going to be with HBO. It's going to be called Lovecraft County. It's a
Country.
Is it? Or did I put that down wrong?
Yeah, it's this country. There's an N.
No, I know. But I
There's an
wrote
N in
that.
county.
I wrote that down, and I'm not sure whether I wrote that down correctly.
You
I
wrote-
thought it was Lovecraft.
You
wrote
you're
county?
You're doing a reverse Ron Burgundy this week.
You
You're not
wrote-
reading what's on.
No, you wrote
No, it is
county.
country. Yeah, you're right.
You
Sorry,
wrote
it is
you wrote
country.
county, and then you wrote based on country. on the same thing.
Oh, okay, so
and
that's
then
where I
I
fucked
corrected
up.
it to
Yeah,
country, hoping you'd run Burgundy and just read what I wrote.
I don't. We discussed this last time. I don't trust anything that you've edited on these show
Yeah.
notes anymore. Okay, you're right. It is country. It's an adaptation of Matt Ruff's 2016 horror novel of the same name.
What is that name?
Lovecraft County.
Continent,
Shit.
province, state.
So this is going to obviously be a TV series.
It looks as though, yeah.
HBO, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
They are a TV series network. A TV series network. Wow.
It's not TV, it's HBO.
Wow.
What did you put into the coffee there, George? It's
God.
affecting us all.
I think it's the paint.
Can
Can you smell that? Can you smell that?
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what? You might not be far off. That is a very strong
Seriously,
smell.
I reckon something. Like, ooh, podcast. Okay, anyway. Okay.
Anyways, it
Jordan
is
Peele
set-
rules.
yeah.
Get Out was amazing. Go check out our review for that because I think we all loved that.
Oh,
as
it's
far
a
as I
stunning film.
remember.
Yeah. It's so this one is probably going to deal with a lot of the similar themes. It's set in Jim Crow America.
What's that?
Racist times.
Yeah.
In the 50s, I think.
Yeah.
Is the set.
Cool. Thank you for contextualizing it for idiots like myself who don't know anything. What do you think, Benny?
Would you let me speak, Connor? Let me speak.
No, I've had enough of you.
Too much pain.
Seriously reckon this face is actually doing something.
What is happening? I mean, just cut me off halfway and be like, nah, fuck it, you've had enough. Ben, it's your turn to speak. What did you think, Ben? Well, we've got you.
Oh, me personally, I'm very. I mean, come on, Jordan Peele would have had his pick of any project he wanted at this point, so this shit must be good. I'm a huge fan of Lovecraft, who did not write this book, obviously, but presumably there's some connections stylistically or thematically, which could be very cool. And J.J. Abrams is producing, which usually a good thing, I guess. You see that little bad robot go along, you know you're in for a good time.
I'll be interested to see. He Sorry, am I allowed to? Are you going to cut me off again? I really liked his tackling of kind of modern racism, that kind of neo-racism in Get Out. It'll be interesting to see how he tackles
Good old-fashioned
racism. I know it's a lot less subtle, and it's an area that's probably been revisited quite a few times. So it'll be interesting to see if he does something new with it.
Cool. That sounds exciting. I mean, anything he touches basically turns to gold.
Well, he's touched one thing.
Well, he touched Key and Peele as well. He touched himself and
Keanu, which is also
Keanu.
really good. But as far as a director,
I need to watch Keanu. You enjoyed that, didn't you?
I did. It's very
was
much in
okay.
the vein of Key and Peele. It's like a large Key and Peele sketch.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not anywhere near Get Out. Don't go with the idea that it's going to be anything like that.
All right, Benny. What do you think?
I've had enough of you and your opinions.
I didn't love it. I thought it was fine.
Okay.
They do the Liam Neeson's joke at one point. That was good.
Yeah. Okay.
Call back to the show. Otherwise, I was like, yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with that.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
What a segment.
Number 6. We got a trailer for Netflix's Star Trek Discovery.
Benny, you'll be happy about this.
Hell yeah, man. Love me some Star Trek. This is a Brian Fuller Star Trek series. It's been delayed and delayed and delayed. Keeps getting pushed back. But we finally got a trailer for it, and it looks like a Star Trek series. Not much to go on, but it looks pretty.
It looks really nice. I wasn't able to decipher this. Is it in the same kind of continuity as the films?
So it's 10 years before the original series, so the Enterprise with Captain Kirk and Spock and such.
Yeah, the Shatner version or this version?
The Shatner.
Yeah, well,
I mean, they're all the same
either.
version.
It's before,
technically,
so
but yeah.
the timeline splits off after that. So
After that, yeah,
I don't
you're
know.
right.
Oh, well, no, before, technically. But
Oh, God.
let's not get into this.
Yeah.
But it's TV canon, basically.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I loved Star Trek Beyond, but otherwise I haven't felt the movies have really been like true kind of Star Trek, you know. the way the TV series are.
Beyond was definitely their best attempt at one episode drawn out over a 2 hour.
Yeah.
And I think we all loved it. That. It's one of my favorite films last year.
I wouldn't put it on my favorite films, but it certainly was very good. Yeah.
But anyway, go on, Benny.
But it's just I think it's so good to have Star Trek back on TV. It's home. It's where it should be.
Yeah.
It's where they can properly explore the themes that Gene Roddenberry set out to originally without having to worry about, box office numbers and
set pieces,
and, explosions and Klingons being big scary monsters and such. And John Harrison, who is actually Khan.
John Harrison. God. Don't remind me of that.
Sorry.
Jesus.
Got to put that in the Prometheus box.
That's one on the list to shred apart for a movie MMA or something.
Who wants to defend that one, though?
Nobody. Benedict Cumberbatch.
No, we just got to find a movie is that bad to square off against.
I thought the Klingons, the highlight of this for me was the Klingon makeup.
Yeah.
I think they looked awesome.
Yeah, they look really, really cool.
I grew up in England and they used to air pretty much every day. It used to be a different one. So you would get the 60s one, you would get Enterprise on Tuesdays, Deep Space Nine on Thursdays, Voyager on Sundays, something to that effect. So I got a good dosage of Star Trek when I was a kid, and I'm with you, Benny. I'm glad to see it back. I hope they do a good job with it, because that one that they brought out a few years ago, was that Enterprise?
Yeah.
I didn't watch it, but the kind of general consensus I heard was fair to middling.
I haven't seen it either. It certainly didn't set the world on fire, though. I don't think it's anyone's favorite Star Trek series.
I caught a couple episodes of it. It was passable. Yeah. I mean,
I don't love that this one is set before other Star Trek series.
I don't know.
Star Trek is something that should always be looking forward, I feel.
Yeah.
So I think each series,
except for the movie where they go back
build
in time
on and be further.
I know what you mean,
the best
though.
movie.
Even though that they went back, it was like a new version of Spock and whatnot. This is different to that. I'm agreeing with what you're saying here. So, look happy.
I'm just not sure what I'm saying. This room is thick with paint.
But yeah,
like that.
hopefully it's good. There were some shonky shots in here. I'm not so keen on her spacesuit.
It's TV and it's Star Trek, so it's kind of par for the course, I guess.
I don't know. That's not really a Star Trek thing, though. They don't really get into suits.
No, I just mean like very television production design.
Yeah.
So this is being released in America. I think only in America. On CBS is launching their own streaming service. Everyone's got to have a streaming service now. Have we got a streaming service going yet, George? We get our own.
BSB streaming. Welcome.
Subscribe.
Let's get on it quick.
So that could be. We'll see how that goes. But everywhere else, I think is getting released on Netflix, which is good to know.
Yeah,
that's where I want to watch it.
Tells you.
All right, moving on. Number 7, Dark Crystal prequel series is coming to Netflix. Another Netflix one.
Another Netflix prequel series.
So we've got The Witcher, we've got Discovery, and Dark Crystal coming to Netflix. These guys are cleaning up.
They're just taking over everything.
Cleaning up, man.
But this is the kind of thing. You got Netflix in this industry. You got Amazon in shipping and distribution. I mean, like these kind of companies that are thinking forward, that are hitting markets that have been screaming for this kind of content for so long. Of course, they're going to clear up.
Yeah.
Good
on them.
So we talked about a Labyrinth sequel a few weeks ago.
We did, yeah.
And George, you quite like the Dark Crystal, don't you?
Yeah, I love the Dark Crystal.
Yeah. So what do you think about this idea?
I'm pumped. I'm just really stoked to get a creature feature. Even though this is a TV series, it's probably not the right term to be using, but I'm just really keen to see what they do in terms of creature effects and the practical effects and blending that with CG, the technology available in 2017.
Which they have said they will be doing.
Yeah.
Just kind of mixing the two. So
that I am so pumped for this.
The main thing is the Jim Henson Company is involved.
Yeah. It does look, so in the trailer, they're doing a lot of kind of practical effect, makeup type stuff. It does give you the impression that is going to feature quite heavily in this series, which is, and we've all mentioned this, is what makes the original so great, is that just stunning puppetry work.
The craft.
Now, there was a cool little trailer with the Jim Henson voiceover. I love that man to death. I love listening to him. You just get that tiny little hint of Kermit the Frog. But I couldn't gather whether whether that footage was new stuff or from the original film.
My impression was that was new. Like that was.
I thought it was a bit of this, bit of that.
Yeah,
but
fingers crossed it is, because
first-
it's a full-on production in the vein of the original. If it's the new one, so
that's what gave me hope for this.
That last shot of the Skeksis, the bird creature, that's obviously from the new one.
Yeah, and that's why I thought that was them building this set, and then they were kind of showing a new creature, and they're going to say, this is how we're going to do it. We're obviously not going to go just a CGI fest. The property itself is probably not what I'm most excited for in this. It really is the fact that they do seem to be putting love and attention into the craft of this series.
But the world building in the Dark Crystal is really cool, and the Skeksis are these really nihilistic, just horrible bird-like creatures that live for a
creepy.
long time. And
I had nightmares about that.
yeah, I just love. If we can explore more on them, this could be interesting.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. This doesn't feel like the kind of prequel where they're like, find out where this character was a few years before the movie. It feels like they might just actually be using the world and telling other stories.
And I think there's potential there with the Dark
Solo.
Crystal.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Moving on. Our final number 8. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson wants Arnie Hammer for Shazam.
Arnie. Did you say Arnie Hammer?
What?
Did you say Army or
No.
Arnie?
Army. How do you pronounce it?
You said it both ways then somehow.
Army. Army Hammer.
Yeah.
Army Hammer.
Army Hammer, the most badass name ever.
I'm just trying to make sure that we get everything you fuck up.
Yeah, I know. Jesus.
Even when you don't.
Just looking out for it now.
Yeah, so Dwayne has come out on social media.
Shocker.
Yeah, like this guy is so powerful, and I feel like he just is trying to run this show himself, and essentially came out and said he didn't even say Armie Hammer's name, which makes me think he might not know it or has forgotten it, because he was like, I'm not even going to say his name.
He didn't want
The
to
Lone
make
Ranger, which I mean, would you really pick that as this guy's like? I guess it was his biggest role, but
It's
not really a career maker. Sorry,
I would have said Social Network.
Who is he in Social Network?
Winklevi.
the Winkle,
Oh, you're
the
right,
Winklevi, yeah. Yeah, so he's decided to take it upon himself to cast this role because DC isn't doing it. And I think that's a pretty damn decent choice, Armie Hammer.
How amazing is it that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, just by his social media force and his brand, is able to put that out there and maybe have a chance in leveraging DC to cast him and make that whole thing happen.
This could all be a ploy by DC just to test the waters, see what the reaction is. Just
Definitely.
Like, is people going to like him as Shazam?
But everyone's been saying he's going to play Green Lantern for the longest time.
Well, he was going to play Batman in the
He was rumored for that, wasn't he?
George Miller's Justice League film. I believe he was cast as Batman.
Oh, okay.
So he has a long history of almost getting DC roles. So
That would have been devastating. That would have been such a good film. That
I would love nothing more than to see George Miller's Justice League. That sounded amazing.
God, that would have been incredible.
I think there's a documentary coming out about it because they've been releasing there was a lot of pre-production for that film. They've released some of it over the years. It's very interesting. Megan Gale as Wonder Woman.
Oh, Megan Gale as Wonder Woman. Wow. Yeah, I guess it kind of fits. But
There's photos of her in costume.
well, the thing is I know somebody who works at George Miller's production company, and they have heaps of the props and costumes and pre-production stuff from that. So that would be really cool to see in person because, you know, after seeing Mad Max, I mean, after seeing all of his features, but it would just would have been something so special. It's a shame. It's a big shame. But we got a bunch of other DC news amongst this.
Yeah, so that's not it. Raimi and Mark Webb have both passed on Flash, but Zemeckis is still in talks.
So this is like a day after we hear that Raimi might be in talks with them. It's like, nope. And then did we even hear that Mark Webb was in talks?
Yeah.
And then, so no for him.
Well, I think a lot of the reports collected. It's like Raimi and Mark Webb out of the running.
And Zemeckis was supposedly not talking to him
Yeah, they were
anymore.
talking about that 2 weeks ago.
But yeah, now he's back in potential. So
Can you imagine being a director trying to navigate that shitstorm of walking into the DCEU?
Why is Warner
Would
Brothers,
you?
why do they have a good stranglehold on this? Why do they continually have these problems?
Well, it's not their fault. It's the directors. It's a director's universe. Remember?
yeah, clearly, because they go through like 5 for every movie.
We've got so many directors at one time or another.
Yeah. All right, next. Go, direct. You do
At
the
least
same.
when Marvel does it, they suck the soul out of one really good director and then throw away his
not
empty
all
husk.
of them.
Yeah, and then he goes to DC, and he's like the king.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
Joss Whedon.
Yeah,
You forgot about that?
yeah.
I saw that realization click in your mind.
No, that's what I was.
Yeah.
What is he doing in the DC?
Batgirl.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I fear for DC, but we did see a cool image of Amber Heard as Mera from Aquaman. So that looks like an interesting production. I have lots of faith in James Wan. I think that's going to be a really cool film, and I really liked her costume. I really liked Aquaman, Jason Momoa's costume. So I think Aquaman's a really hard one to get right, especially aesthetically. So I think for me, they're nailing the look.
She looks
so far.
very comics accurate, but she also looks like Rita Repulsa from Power Rangers. So
Better than her, I think.
yeah, I guess.
I was thinking Ivy from Batman.
It's like a gritty Ariel.
This is what I thought. I was like,
Her orange hair looks okay. She could have used a big Inhumans wig though. Then
That's
George would
exactly
really
what I was
love
about
it.
to say. You know what she could use? She could use a wig.
I would have loved it more.
Oh, we know, George. We know.
The weird part.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I think that's it for top 8 of the week.
We've done it. We've destroyed our brain cells in the process, but we've made it all the way through.
Got a lot of honorable mentions though.
First off is Danny McBride has talked about his Halloween movie that he's writing.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Very cool. Very cool.
To be honest, I don't have no knowledge on his chops as a writer.
Chomps or chomps? Chomps.
Chomps? I didn't say chops.
Sorry.
You are looking for
I'm
things
missing-
Review
for
the
me to
tape.
fuck up.
Review the tape. Listen, I've got this recording, so you're gonna hear maybe some additional footage attached. to
Yeah,
this.
they will.
Yeah, what were we talking about again? Danny McBride.
Danny McBride and the Halloween
You want to talk
movies.
about it?
Yeah.
This is your story, man.
Yeah.
It's mine.
I'm pumped. Moving on.
I want to give a little bit of background into the way that the podcast works. We discuss what should be in our top 8, and then the rest just kind of get funneled into honorable mentions. And George was pushing to have that in the top 8. What were you going to talk about?
Okay, here we go. You asked for it. This is a really cool project because Halloween has had the Rob Zombie reboots, whatever the fuck you call those things, were just not so good. Let's just leave it at that. And Danny McBride and the other bloke that he's writing this with, he clearly loves the property. And so much so that John Carpenter, who directed the original, is on board. He might even score it because John Carpenter's thing is that he scores a lot of his features. So, man, if that's not an endorsement, well, I don't know what is.
That's like having James Cameron say your Terminator movie's really good.
Fuck you. Fuck you. It's the best Terminator movie ever. Actually, we need to go and revisit that Terminator Genesis.
We're finally going to see a Terminator run.
Holy
So
shit.
just to fill in on that, he's co-writing it with director David Gordon Green.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Directed, as we all know, All the Real Girls and Your Highness.
Of course.
Your Highness. Don't do triangle face. I hate it when you do triangle face.
It's interesting seeing Danny McBride.
So
was
dismissive
such a
from
fuck.
Ben.
Shut the fuck up.
What are we
Anyways.
talking about, Your Highness? Never watched that shit.
Yeah. All right. We're moving on.
No.
yes,
You
we
wanted
are.
me to talk about this, and I'm going to talk about it.
I'm giving this segment a mercy killing. We're moving on. Simon Pegg and Nick Frost have launched Stolen Picture banner with comedy horror Slaughterhouse Rules.
What does
I
that
don't
mean?
even know what that means.
What does that mean?
I guess they've started their own distribution or production company, and they're releasing a movie called Slaughterhouse Rules.
This was clearly not well researched on our end.
Yeah, cool.
Anything
Good
that
to see
those
them
two-
still working together.
Yeah, anything that those two do together, particularly with Edgar Wright, obviously, I absolutely love.
Even Paul?
Yeah, I like Paul.
No, you said absolutely love. No, you're saying I like Paul.
I take some of the excess love from Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz and distribute it
Okay.
among the others.
And that fills it up to the top. Yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough.
I these two together I think are amazing. I haven't watched their TV series. Spaced. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Which
Check that
everyone
out.
has told me is
Yeah, me neither.
amazing.
That's on my bucket list.
Boys.
Bucket list.
Wow.
That's number one on
On
my
your
bucket
deathbed, I
list.
still haven't watched Space.
What do you want to do with your life? Really want to catch that space TV show.
Oh my lord.
All right.
But seriously.
Moving on.
But it's cool that they're going to be cultivating new talent. They seem to be really genuine dudes. They're going to be bringing through a whole new, wave of directors. Why the fuck are you laughing at me?
No, I think you're doing great.
Yeah, whatever.
Next is Judge Dredd is getting a TV series that's in the works currently.
Mega
It's called
City
Mega
1.
City 1. Yeah.
Awesome.
Is my boy Carl Urban in this?
We don't know. No, I mean, nobody knows. Like, we don't know if he's involved. I would think he wouldn't want to give up that character because everyone loves Dredd. Like, what an awesome surprise that was.
Yeah.
It was
No
just the
brainer.
raid, but it was sick. So now we're getting a TV series out of it. That's cool. I mean, the comics have been running for decades. There's a lot they could explore with that. I reckon it'd be cool to have Carl Urban play Dredd and have him show up not as the main character that we're always following, but maybe just show up because he's very, very thinly drawn as a character. He's just a badass. I mean, the comics are satire originally, so it would be cool to just have him in that world and see other things from it as well.
Yeah. And this is why I think that it's a good direction to go with a TV show as opposed to a movie. I think another movie would have been overkill with that.
Well, that's what Judge Dredd's all about.
It is, but I mean, to the point where you'd get that
I don't
fatigue.
reckon. I don't reckon. I think there's so much to explore with that.
But I think they would have they would have rehashed it because it would have been another small budget sort of thing. It would have been the same sort of stuff. But with a TV series, you can tell a lot of different stories in that world, which could be very cool.
Yeah, and you can have kind of slow character arcs. I mean, it's a different medium for a different style of story, and I think this is the kind of story that would fit into that. Whereas another movie, as you said, would just be rehashed what we got in the first one, and probably not as effectively.
The first one not being the Sly Stallone movie. We don't want to see any more of that.
Yeah.
Maybe Stallone will return as a character.
Jeez. I am the law.
Is that your Stallone impression?
Yeah.
Just checking.
Yeah.
We'll work on it.
Anyways, next one is the Mummy official third trailer. It's come out, and there was also a Jekyll reveal. I don't know how much of a reveal it was. I didn't look too much into his character
You
at all.
see his eyes change color, essentially.
Yeah.
Not much. This trailer, though, they were really pumping the angle of like Bureau of Paranormal Research and Defense. Like,
They
it's
were,
like,
yeah.
we research all of these monsters.
Just knocking one. Ah!
Yeah, so it's really showing Jekyll as like the head of this organization that researches, like they're really laying the groundwork for this universal dark universe, as they seem to name it in the trailer. All of this shared universe of all the Universal monsters. I guess it's good that they're actually trying to show that they're doing that now,
Yeah.
because they've been talking about it for a while.
They're starting to set it up,
Yeah.
slowly but surely.
Anyway, I found that more interesting than anything else about the Mummy movie so far. So
Yeah. This as a Mummy movie doesn't, and I've expressed this from the very beginning, I have a really big soft spot for the Brendan Fraser mummies. And no interest to see another Mummy film. But this new angle is something that I'm certainly interested in exploring, I guess.
We'll
I'll
see.
give it a chance.
the shot of him
very
coming out of the car as it rolls down the hill was cool.
Yeah. Next is Okja official trailer. There's no way I've pronounced that right either.
Well, I think you got it.
Can't really pronounce it any other way.
Yeah. This is an interesting one. So this is a Netflix produced film that is going to be showed at Cannes. I think it's one of two.
Can.
I think it's Ken.
Is it?
Monsieur?
Oh, sorry.
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 It is sorry,
Excusez-moi.
monsieur.
Pardon?
You know, this guy, Bong Joon-ho, he is the man.
Yeah.
I got obsessed with South Korean films about 5-6 years ago, and I went through all the big ones, and he did one that I highly, highly recommend, Memories of Murder. He also did The Host, which
Very
got
cool.
a lot of traction worldwide as a sort of a different kind of monster Godzilla film. And he also did Snowpiercer, which was sick.
And got a lot of attention for him as well.
So this guy's prime for this. I should have. I didn't watch this before, but as soon as this podcast is done, I'm going to go and watch this. So I'm adequately prepared.
Prepared after the podcast.
It's a cool trailer. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
You know?
Tilda Swinton as a bad guy. Or a bad girl, sorry.
Or bad guy in Constantine.
Yeah. she really creepy. She really nailed that down. I thought
Yeah, well, she was so great as the bad guy in Snowpiercer.
Yeah.
See, I still haven't seen Snowpiercer.
Oh,
Dude,
It's
you would
one of the
really
ones,
like it, man.
Yeah, it's
I
one
think
of those things
they're adapting it for TV or something now. So get in there before
before that
happens.
Yeah, it's on my bucket list.
Hey, you sad person.
Moving on. God, there's a lot of trailers that came out this week. Finally, we've got the Emoji movie trailer. Ben, you put this on here.
I just think it's funny that there's an emoji movie. I've only watched the trailer on mute, to be honest. But even then, it's amazing how derivative it looks. It's funny. This has become a whole subgenre of animation. The
Angry
world that you were
Birds.
unaware of. The Toy Story.
Yeah.
Monsters Inc. What are the things going on in the background? Pixar kind of set the precedent for it, and now everyone keeps doing it. Sausage Party.
Yeah, this movie makes me a bit angry. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
It feels like a studio being like, what's
Feels like an Angry
relevant in-
Birds $80 million
Yeah.
churn it out and make a fuckload of money.
It probably will be. All I will say is the Lego movie.
It's not
Lego
the
movie.
same.
The
It's
Lego
not,
movie.
Oh, Lego movie. No, that's the only thing that makes me reserve judgment.
Is
But
it
then I
Animal
remember.
Logic?
No, I'm just saying, like, if there's ever been a more cynical looking cash grab movie
Of course.
in the world,
But
Yeah.
Emoji seems
Could
even
happen.
more so
It
than,
does.
than Lego movie.
Lego has, I mean, if you actually look into Lego, the company itself has been really masterful in the way that it has expanded in multimedia. So the way that it's moved on into film, the way that it's moved on into video games has always been very calculated.
sort of, but all the straight to DVD Lego movies were exactly that kind of cash grab bullshit.
They are, but they didn't pretend to be anything else. Like those, I don't know why, but Lego movie just, it feels a little bit more, there's a little bit more substance to it. If we're putting emojis and like Legos, which I don't know about you guys, but I played with all the time when I was a kid.
Well,
if we're putting
emojis
those-
are the new Lego, man.
That's
what
sad.
kids play with.
That's
these
the
days.
word. That's probably the saddest way that we could end
Get
this
hip,
podcast.
Connor. Get hip. All right. That's what it's all about now. The emojis.
The emojis. Oh, that's so bad.
Yeah, it's probably gonna suck.
The only good thing about this is that Patrick Stewart is playing the poo emoji.
That's
So
gold.
that's the only thing getting this thing across the line for me.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
No.
Well, that's it, guys. Top 8 done for the week. Wow.
I'm surprised we survived with all these fumes in this room.
Yeah. So seriously, that little bit in the middle where we lost it, it's going to be on loop. That's going to be my new message tone. Anyway, good to see you guys.
It's good to see you too, George.
Thanks for having
And
us.
for everyone
good.
watching, it was good for you to see us as well.
Really good. Really good. Guys, it was a pleasure as always. Thank you for sharing this with me, Connor
Bye.
and Benny.
See ya.
See ya.